now. I don't know if it's going to show our video full screen like how we just put it here. All right. There we go. A little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think it's showing. It is showing our full. Okay. Anyways, we are live on Rumble. It's Brian Ference, MAGA podcast. We've had a couple of false starts and restarts, testing out some new technology, new processes. But anyways, James, welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about?
Well,
See, we've got some viewer count there. So.
we have some viewers.
Yeah, we got some viewers coming in, so it's working.
Well, I don't know. It's that, we have all kinds of different topics we could possibly talk about.
Mm-hmm.
One of the topics was the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
What do you think about that? I mean, you've seen kind of some of the stuff that I put out, but
yeah, I don't like the way that they've done it. Are they? Is it the total story of everything that they're saying? Is that true? I don't think so.
I think there's a lot of concerns about what the FBI has been putting out. There's a lot of holes in their theory. The latest that I saw was there's this discussion that the alleged shooter that they have in custody, who I think is just a patsy, is not actually the shooter. They're saying that if there was any problem with the way the evidence was handled, for example, you saw a Turning Point cameraman come in to the crime scene, I believe use the chair that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in to stand up and take a memory card out of the camera and take it off the scene. The attorney, the alleged shooter, could say, well, this evidence is inadmissible because the chain of custody has been broken. We don't know. It's been tampered with. They might have put AI on there, So people are saying that it's very possible that this patsy is going to get off scot-free, which just adds all the more credibility. This was a military-style hit by military government, probably working in conjunction with the CIA, but probably Mossad. What do you think?
There's just too many things that are questionable. Like, he was supposed to use a 308 type of.
It was a 30-06.
It was a 30-06? Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a 30-06. And if he used a 30-06 and shot him in the neck, he would have blown his head off. If it hit his spinal cord in his neck, his head would literally come right off. I mean, that's a powerful, powerful gun, and it's not going to be just, you're not going to just shoot somebody and then the bullet's going to stop right there. No.
Right.
So it's that part right there, just that alone is bullshit. There is no way that they have,
Well, I think one of the interesting things is a lot of people are doubting that official FBI story. But what's very strange is you don't see any of Charlie Kirk's employees really doubting it. They're not speaking out publicly, questioning it. Not at all. It seems a little strange. I mean, if there was anything questionable about the assassination of your boss, which was it was a terrible tragedy, for Charlie Kirk to be assassinated that way. But I mean, you would think that his employees would be very outspoken about something's not right here. We need to get to the bottom of this. Possibly releasing some of that high definition video that they have from that camera that was right behind him that they took the SD card out of. And then there's, of course, the traditional excuses. Oh, no, there's an investigation. We turned it over to the FBI. We can't talk about it. Can't do anything.
Well, it's also like there was evidence of drones. There was at least 2 drones. So if there's 2 drones, where's the footage? They never even said that there was footage for the drone.
Well,
Just,
I agree.
They didn't even say anything about it.
And another concerning thing, if you look at the videos immediately following the assassination, there's 3 or 4 guys, security looks like, that jump over the tables, and they're, supposedly helping Charlie Kirk. Any type of injury like that, any med, any training, or just if you've ever seen a movie, they're going to put their hands over the wound and try to stop the bleeding, to prevent him from bleeding out. But if you look in that video, they lift their hands up a couple times. There's no blood on anyone's hands. So that means either there wasn't a lot of blood coming out, and or they weren't putting pressure on the wound, which seems strange.
That does seem strange. But it's strange the way the wound is. I mean, the wound come out on the side of his neck. It just doesn't seems a little odd.
Well, there's a lot of theories. One is that he was actually shot from behind. Another theory is that it was the lavalier, like the microphone thing that exploded, and a piece of that actually went into his neck. But a couple things I want to talk about that's a little bit different, because that's all been covered, a lot of channels. I posted something on X, and I encourage everyone to go to my profile, my pin post at Brian Ference 1. And what it's talking about is, this FARA document, and that's when, if there's a foreign agent and they have to notify the U.S. government, it's an arm of the Department of Justice, that they're conducting business, they're doing something. So through a company in California, there is a effort which is well documented in the Times of Israel, and the Israel Public Affairs Ministry, admits that they're spending $4 million. They're going to be buying all the geolocation data for Christian churches, the geofencing. So what that means is, if you enter some of these churches, they will know, based on the data on your phone through multiple apps that they're buying, that, okay, you've entered this church. We know certain things about you. If you look at the privacy on some of these apps, it can be a lot of things. It can be contact information. It could be your email address. It's your phone's MEI, the unique identifier. It's your app usage, your location, a bunch of other data. I mean, it just depends on the privacy of the app. But what it will do is it will allow the country of Israel to determine, okay, these people were in these Christian churches, and then target them with marketing or propaganda campaigns. Can you grab me a tuna there as it's coming off? That's the one that's broken. There's a couple things about that are really interesting. One of the churches that's named in that document is Dream City Church. And Dream City Church in Phoenix is well known for hosting all of the Charlie Kirk Turning Point events. Whenever Trump comes, any of the AmFest rallies, all of this. So it's all through Dream City Church. So that's one of the targeted locations. But is Dream City Church completely innocent in this? And if you look at the Dream City Church website, again, this is posted on a couple of my posts on my profile. They've written some very pro-Israel articles on Dream City Church on their website, promoting Israel, all those different things. And then there's an article that the pastor of Dream City was interviewed, because at one of the remembrance services for Charlie Kirk at Dream City Church, they played this artificial intelligence voice of Charlie Kirk speaking from beyond the grave, which is a little bit strange, saying that he's fine and, don't worry about me, but let's get back in the fight, and, a few other things, which many people view as very unethical. I mean, Charlie Kirk never said those words. What else can they make Charlie Kirk say if they have his voice? But in that article, the pastor of Dream City Church also mentions that he compares Charlie Kirk to Jesus. He talks about how it was ordained by God that Charlie Kirk and Dream City Church came together to host these, Trump events and these rallies. He mentioned that the program will continue and his increasing relationship with Turning Point and Charlie Kirk. What do you think, first of all, about the geofencing issue and the using the AI?
Well, the AI, I think, using the AI as somebody's voice died, that's tacky. That's just so tacky. Just shouldn't do that. And then if you get into like the geofencing and targeting Catholics,
Well, it's Christians. It's like, it's probably Catholic churches too, but it's
yeah,
from what I saw, a lot of them were non-denominational Christian churches.
yep, and that's going to cause a lot of problems because now you're talking about targeting Catholic Christians with targeting Catholics and Christians with just propaganda. That's all it is. It's really just propaganda. That's all they're trying to do is propagandize everybody.
Right. And because of the AI, there was an interesting connection. And on the geofencing too. So the official spokesman of Turning Point, who's also the producer of the Charlie Kirk show, it's Andrew, what's his name, Colvet or something like that. Anyways, Andrew, I don't have the exact pronunciation right now. I think it's Colvet. He had said about the Charlie Kirk funeral that through his tech partners, who are those tech partners, we don't know, they were able to identify that 277,000 people were at the funeral, basically through geofencing. So it seems like maybe those tech partners are the same tech partners that are selling all those geofencing data on the Christian churches. So that's documented. And then Erica Kirk was mentioning that in the video that they have hundreds of hours of Charlie Kirk's voice, videos of him that never come out that they're going to be releasing. They're going to be posting on his private X account, his personal X account at Charlie Kirk 11 from Beyond the Grave, and they were mentioning using his voice. So it makes me think. Who's to say that some of those audio files and videos, how do we know that Charlie Kirk actually recorded that and it's not an AI voice, which has already been used by Dream City Church? How do we know it's not going to be this AI version of Charlie Kirk? And how do we know he actually did record that and is saying?
No.
Well, and now there's something else too. So that's a concern if you go to those churches or if you go to a political rally at Dream City Church, you're going to be geofenced and tracked and targeted. But it's interesting to note that a Turning Point owned and created company known as Superfeed Technologies Incorporated makes a number of apps. So they make the Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action. They make Scott Pressler's Early Vote Action app. And then they make a couple GOP apps for ballot chasing. And there's even a couple news sites on there as well. So if you have any of those apps downloaded on your phone, was that information already sent to Israel? Was it sold to Israel already? Who's on the board of Superfeed? The chairman of the board and the CEO is Tyler Boyer, who was the COO of Turning Point Action. I guess the CEO of Turning Point Action now. He's also an executive in TPUSA. And also on the board of directors is Erica Kirk's mother. Erica Kirk's mother, who has a history of military contracts with the CIA, the Department of Defense. And it says right in the privacy of all those Superfeed apps that they may share your data with third parties. and if you give them that right to do. So you have, let's review this. So you have the official spokesman and the producer of the Charlie Kirk show saying, yeah, we've been geofencing you at the funeral. And you have Israel saying, okay, through Dream City Church and a couple other Christian churches, we're going to geofence you and we're going to target you. Oh, and by the way, Charlie Kirk, and Turning Point USA, they do all their events at Dream City. And then you have Erica Kirk's mother and Tyler Boyer on the board of Superfeed with all these apps. If you have any of those apps on your phone, it's very likely that your data has already been sold to Israel and you're being tracked and targeted right now.
Well, I would say that most people, they're being trapped. But targeted is a different story. I think that the biggest thing right now is we have a lot of it's like everything is trying really hard to not let us know certain things. So it's like we'll hide some things. Let's keep some things really quiet. Why? Why? It's like why is it that it's that important to hide that stuff?
I'm gonna order some more wasabi up here. Pardon my reach there. No, I mean that's a good point.
Why is it? I mean, but then you've got a ton of different corporations, companies, and people that have their data. So who cares? Everybody's got their data. Just don't do anything.
Well, it's interesting to point out that who has your data. It's one thing if it's an American marketing company, but if it's a foreign country, and when we talk about Superfeed Technologies, they're registered in Arizona as a foreign for-profit company. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Grab me one of those. Yeah, grab me that one. So I don't know. I'm not comfortable with my data being sent to a foreign country. I'm not comfortable with being tracked, especially without my knowledge. And then being targeted based on I went to a Christian church, and so now I'm going to be targeted with pro-Israel propaganda. I mean, I'm not comfortable with that at all. I believe the Supreme Court ruled that using that geofence data to obtain warrants for the January 6th defendants, because that was also used at January 6th, was unconstitutional. So it was a violation of their constitutional rights to get these arrest warrants based on the geofencing data. So if that's illegal, how is a foreign country having it? How is that constitutional?
Well, it's not being used against you in a court of law.
Well, not yet.
Well, once it goes outside of the country, it's no longer specifically to you.
I'm pointing out if it's a constitutional violation to use that geofencing data to get warrants for January 6th, then how is it constitutional to give that geofencing data to foreign countries for the purpose of propaganda?
Well, see, that's the thing is one was the purpose of arresting people. The other one is the purpose of just propaganda. So the Constitution will say, hey, propaganda is okay.
But it's not.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that the people that are our so-called rulers, we need to change that designation. They're not rulers. They're not our rulers. They are our servants. We need to change that.
Let me check. I don't see any chats. I think if we live stream on X, we can't see through Rumble. We can't see the comments come through. Please do comment on there. If you want to comment live, I think through Rumble you can comment on our Rumble channel. Yeah. We do have quite a few viewers, so I want to say hello to our viewers again. Brian Ference, follow me on X at Brian Ference1. This is the MAGA Mind podcast. I'm James Gunn.
Sir Runcible Spoon. from the famous spoon family that has date back millennia. Everybody has had a spoon in their life.
I like that.
You should read my my profile on X because I go into my history of where the spoon name comes from.
Do you? I haven't read it.
Yes,
it's interesting.
Yes, it's really fascinating to find out where spoon has been part of the a part of the aristocratic systems for generations. You know, there's table, my famous distant relative table, and then there's tea and soup. So we have
you can't give this guy any sake. He doesn't. Once we have some sake, things go sideways. But since you're bringing up some things like that, I want to bring it back for a minute. I don't know what happened to the server. Yeah, the issue's not solved. Anyways, the other thing that we were talking about was, the FBI, and Kash Patel came out. I think it was a day or two ago, and he apparently is saying that, hey, it's a real problem what's going on here on social media. This free speech is a real problem. We can't have so much of this. It was the typical, misinformation being spread, hate speech, that kind of stuff. And then what we saw immediately was a huge crackdown on TikTok and a huge crackdown on X. In fact, the X, I never saw it before. There's an X safety team. I think I sent you that. The X safety team.
Yeah.
They posted that, anything against protected groups is banned on X and multiple. Oh, can we get some more of the wasabi, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, anything else that you wanted? Hey, do you want anything else?
Yeah, I ordered another one of these.
Let me go check on that.
Okay. Go ahead and hit issue solve. Anyways, so there's a huge crackdown on X. There's an even bigger crackdown on TikTok now that it's been purchased by pro-Israel and Israel-friendly companies and a conglomerate. And everyone is saying that there's no more criticizing the ADL, AIPAC, Israel. You can't do it on TikTok, and it's just the sweeping censorship. And of course, there's a big push on X to do that too. A lot of people lost their blue check marks. A lot of accounts were suspended. The uncensored AI account was suspended. Thank you. Let me pour this for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll pour your first glass. This is an interesting sake. I think we actually had this in Japan. This is a draft sake.
None of the stuff that we get here in America was.
Yeah, I know. It's probably the similar name. Let's see.
Yeah.
It says it's from Kobe, Japan. At least the company is. It's imported through Oregon. So apparently this one is from Japan. It says, if you can believe it. Come by.
Right. Yeah, I just think that the idea of in a country that has free speech, there is something that cannot be said. So if you have words that cannot be said, then you live in a tyranny. Regardless of whether or not the people believe they're in the free speech, it's not free. I mean,
right.
If I can't criticize Israel, then it's not free speech. So, I mean, we don't have free speech.
There was another article that I think is Gen X girl, who I retweeted that as well. So check my profile on X for that. But she wrote an extremely long article about the systematic influence of American government, politicians, the media, and a lot of evidence of some of this propaganda that Israel has been running, and it's really out of control. I mean, it's absolutely out of control. So it's a great article by Gen X Girl. Check that out.
They've been basically propagandizing us since 1911.
I don't think it's working anymore. So they're stepping it up.
But it's too late. It's already. I mean, we're already at the point where there is nothing that we can do that's going to change anything.
I'm going to get a appetizer too. I don't know where I need to get that. I think it's in other. So and you're saying there's nothing we can do, but
what can you do? I mean, your government is basically telling you that you can't talk about Jews. You're not allowed to talk about Jews. You're not allowed to talk about Israel. Nothing bad about anybody. You gotta be.
I've got this free appetizer pass. This is the restaurant they're at, by the way. You get a free appetizer here. So I got gyoza. I know you don't like that, but you didn't like the last appetizer we got. Mine? Okay. Grab it. Thank you. Yeah, so I know what you're saying, and I think it's important to note. Oh yeah, that looks good. It's important to note, there's a significant difference between ethnic Jewish people, religious Jewish people, the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, the government of Israel, Netanyahu's regime, and Mossad. There's a big difference between all of those things. And I don't know. There's just these narratives that if you criticize any of those in any way, then somehow you're anti-Semitic. But that's not working anymore. It's no, I'm sorry, you can't just have a regime or an intelligence agency from a foreign country come in and conduct assassinations or conduct operations or violate the rights or privacy of other countries' citizens and not be criticized for it. It's not happening anymore.
Well, it doesn't really matter because we're at the end. That's the reason why they're not trying to hide it anymore. I mean, if you saw back in the early 1900s, I mean, they really tried hard to hide it. Now they're not trying to anymore.
You're saying this is that the end times are approaching.
They're here. They're not approaching it. They're here. I mean, if you want to get into that, okay, I don't know all of the biblical inferences of this, but we had 2 supernovas that were visible with the naked eye. Well, with a pair of binoculars. You could see 2 supernovae last month in September. The odds of that happening are astronomical, just having 2 that are visible. Then we have 7 asteroids. One is an interstellar asteroid, which they're trying to promote it and to make it into an alien ship.
Yeah, there's a big push, a pro-alien push. The government used to say aliens didn't exist. Now the government says aliens exist. I personally believe the opposite of whatever the government's saying at the time. So,
but you've got 2 supernovas, which is an indication that's apocalyptic right there. Mm-hmm. Just having the visibility of 2 supernovas, that's crazy. Then you've got 7 asteroids. You've got volcanoes going off all over the country right now, all over the world. Volcanoes going off. You've got just
a little bit.
You've got earthquakes, and you've got all of this stuff going on all over the country. And what is that? That's biblical, just biblical apocalyptic stuff. I mean, you have fire and brimstone stuff coming from the sky. It's biblical. We're in biblical times now, and there's also the whenever a supernova happens, they have detected what's called a gravity wave. And a gravity wave will shoot through usually between 2 to 4 weeks after, depending upon how far away the supernova is. The ones that happened were quite far away, so it's going to be a couple of weeks. Should be right around the end of October to beginning of December, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
That's when the gravity wave is going to hit, which could cause the north and south poles of the Earth to switch places.
They've been saying that for a long time. It's never happened.
Well, it is actually moving. But if it switched places, it's going to be horrible. It's basically the land that's underneath of us. All the land will turn into water. It will basically liquefy the land. So anything that's sitting on the land will just become destroyed. Everything will be destroyed.
What would that happen if an asteroid hit one of those poles?
Well, it's not that the asteroids or anything are going to hit us, and the pulse flop or the pulse switch has been.
I'm sure that some gyoza, still dumplings.
So the pulse switch has been verified that it exists. We know that happens. It happens periodically throughout our interesting Earth. So it hasn't happened for a long time, but it has happened within the existence of humans.
Let me ask you this question though. So supposedly Israel is going to do a peace agreement with Palestine. I think Hamas is going to agree too, supposedly. But in the interim, I've seen, it's difficult to tell if you're not actually there, but I've seen before and after photos, and it looks like, and based on the live video that I've seen, that whole area of the Gaza Strip and Palestine has been like devastated, like flattened almost. And
I've seen pictures. Yeah.
Typically, when something happens like that, when it's happened in the U.S., for example, that's when real estate developers move in.
Just like Hawaii, and Palisades, and Ohio, and well, we can go on and on.
Right. So, would you say that it's likely that possibly Israel-connected real estate developers are going to move into that area and start building, rebuilding?
Possible?
And yeah,
I don't think it's possible. I think that's what the whole plan was. The biggest thing is if you have a country that does not have a banking system with fiat type banking. If you have a country that does not have fiat type banking, that's what Israel go after. See, like Iran, that's the reason why they're fighting with Iran. Iran does not have fiat banking. They want to get rid of Iran because they got to have fiat banking. Every country has to have fiat banking. And you wonder why? Why do they want to have fiat banking? Control.
That's a good point.
Control.
Well, so the interesting thing, though, I've talked with my son about this. Support for the younger generations for Israel is at its lowest point ever, which is why they're doing these propaganda, these geofencing campaigns. They're like, oh my gosh, our image is suffering. We gotta do some damage control here.
But the biggest thing I find is that they've already got everything locked up. The United States is under control of Israel. We've got the UK is under control of Israel. Most countries are either under control of Israel or will soon be. So why do they care what people think about them anymore? Why do they care about them?
I don't know.
Because they already control us. Like, we can't say anything bad about Israel because we're under control. Right now, I'm not too sure that we're going to go actually be on because we're talking about this.
Well,
because we may be blocked.
We have a number of viewers right now, but yeah, it's very possible that the stream could get shut off.
Yeah.
Because we're just real talking right now, and that's not allowed.
That's not allowed. Not in this free country of ours. We're only free to pay taxes. That's all we're all free to do. If you think that we live in a free country, just try and not pay your income tax.
Let me give you an example. There's a bunch of people that I know that are my age, and so I'm an elder millennial. I'm the last year of a millennial.
And I'm the youngest boomer.
Okay.
So I don't actually fall into the boomer category,
right?
Because I'm the youngest. Right. Boomer. I'm more of an X.
But so in the boomer generation, they were so heavily propagandized about Israel, and this is why I think they're targeting the churches. And they're not just geofencing and selling the data; they're also sending money to the pastors so that they give homilies and put out messages about Israel and pro-Israel messages. So that's in the budget too. Because all the people, boomers, and then in my age group, they were all propagandized from birth that, Israel, it's they're the chosen people. We have to support Israel. They're our greatest ally. They're just our greatest ally. I mean, we send them, hundreds of billions of dollars. They send us nothing except for propaganda and paying our, $7,000 per post to our Con Inc. influencers, to post these propaganda messages. But they're our greatest ally. But so in my age group, like on my exact age, there's so many people. If I say anything, even mention the word like Israel, Jews, Mossad, AIPAC, anything, they have almost a violent reaction. And you're anti-Semitic. It's like, wait a minute. I'm just talking about what is being observed, what is seen. There's factual evidence. There's all this propaganda. The younger generations see it, but my generation, your generation, they've been conditioned to ignore it and to have a just visceral reaction against it in defense of it without any critical thinking whatsoever.
Well, that's really pretty much what it is. Is that you get people that you say anything to them and they get a violent reaction to it. Doesn't matter what you say to them. If they get an immediate violent reaction, they've been completely programmed and they're beyond redemption. Can't really fix it.
A little more. I think only approximately 60% of the population falls into that category because I believe 30 to 40% of the population is resistive to propaganda. And if you present them...
It's 20%.
Well, the percentage is arguable. If you present them enough evidence, or maybe if their friends start telling them, hey, yeah, this is true.
The friends. That's the thing. It's the friends.
Then they can modify their opinion. But there is a certain percentage, which is a lot apparently, 30 to 60%, that they will not ever change their opinion. Ever. Right. No matter what.
Yeah. That's true. And I've met people that are just so blatantly, they're controlled. They're just like, the propaganda has worked so well on them that there's pretty much nothing you can say to them that is true that they would think. Hey, look at that.
What's up?
Meeting you here.
Hi. Did you see
Do you have the card? Oh, you're gonna get
Yeah, I do. Are you eating with your friends?
Yeah. I'm some friends.
I didn't know you were eating here.
Well, yeah, because I gotta go to school.
Okay, well, we're almost done. But, I was going to. Can you...
Use it and then drop it off, because we just got it.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Bye.
Wait, come back. I am. This is working. Anyways.
Excuse us.
Pardon. But, so, we have quite a few viewers right now, so I do want to say hello. Again, my name is Brian Ference.
We have 69 viewers. Yes, 69.
We'll see. that number's not accurate because it's
Still funny.
it doesn't. This one doesn't pull it in from both apps, so it's only on one platform, I think. Anyways, but I do want to say hello to our our viewers, and again, I'm Brian Ference at Brian Ference One. This is MAGA Mind podcast, and then I can't believe she saw us from all the way over there. And then this is James Richard at Sir Runcible Spoon, magamindpodcast.com. Please do follow us. And a lot of this evidence that we've been talking about is posted, pinned to my pin posts in the comments. So go in there and review it. Just a reminder, I will be on the I think 2 podcasts this evening. This afternoon at 1:45, which is about 45 minutes from now. I'm going to be on the Redacted podcast, and then I think it's Ryan Matta is going to be having me on his. I think it's going to be I screwed up. It's going to be on a space, actually. There we go. I fixed that. On his X Spaces stream this evening. So please do join for that. But I think we're starting to hit up against our time limit. Would any closing questions or thoughts or things you want to throw out?
Well, I think that we have a huge amount of propaganda that's been dumped out onto the world right at the moment. And most of this propaganda is completely useless. I mean, if people believe it, it's useful. But with all of the stuff that's been going on, it's actually, they're kind of going against what they really should be going towards. Instead of them propagandizing us and trying to get us to not want to talk about Israel, they should be changing that. They should not be propagandizing that. The people will be kind of where I was going.
Well, I think I get what you're saying here, and I agree because it's going to backfire. Like on TikTok, for example, that widespread censorship on TikTok was relatively uncensored about that topic, at least before, and now you have these bans and videos are getting pulled down, and that's the younger generation who is already very anti-Israel. They're going to have the exact opposite reaction that they're looking for. It's going to completely backfire. They're going to become more anti-Israel than ever before.
That's true. Very true. I think so. I mean, for me personally, I was not anti-Israel. I was my brother-in-law, who's now deceased, he was Jewish. So, I mean, I've known a lot of them. I worked for a lot of them over the years. And so I was not very anti-Jewish. But now that I've seen a lot of the things that are going on, it's actually coming out and breaking free. I'm like, there's a lot of things that I knew about a long time ago, but they hid all the details. So I knew the overall picture, but all the details were gone. So I was like, okay, who did this? Why did they do this? I never knew. Now I'm finding out. Guess who it was?
Well, I think it's important to look at the JFK files release and see which foreign country was working with the CIA right before JFK's assassination.
Yeah. He was working with the government right before the Trump assassination.
Attempts. I mean, that's interesting. So
he was working with our government during the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Well, there's some interesting parallels between the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Trump assassination attempts.
Yes.
And, I mean, shortly after those, you saw Trump come out and be very pro-Israel, very supportive of Israel. I mean, conducting bombing for Israel, very differential to Netanyahu. And, I mean, it almost makes you wonder, would someone act that way if their attempted assassination failed, but then it was like, you know what, we're going to keep trying until we get you, unless you do X, Y, and Z. And I mean, that's tough to think about, but I don't know. There's too much influence over our politicians, specifically the federal Congress by AIPAC. They've all taken money on both sides. I personally believe that elections are being stolen, and Israel is behind part of it because they're stealing the election for the pro AIPAC candidate on both sides.
Yes.
And what definitely helps with that is what Turning Point and Early Vote Action is doing, registering these low propensity Republican voters who are uninformed voters, pushing mail-in voting, pushing early voting. That all helps that steal and that cheat. And then you find out that those organizations are heavily pro-Israel, heavily involved in these geofencing and propaganda campaigns. And what else? And man, I mean, it's starting to look worse and worse and worse. So,
That's like I said, it's too late. It's already been done. It's already done.
Yeah.
We just haven't felt the repercussions.
I'm feeling the repercussions a little bit.
A little bit, but I mean, we still live in what was called first world country, but that's just an illusion. We do not live in a first world country. We live in a third world country controlled by a specific group of elites. Now, those,
Let's do the keep talking.
yeah, we, so that's the thing. We're stuck. We're screwed. They're basically.
Is there missing this? No. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the biggest thing. It's they started this process that we're currently in back in the 90s. This particular project was started back in the 90s. And you can find that on X all over the place. You can find evidence of stuff. People are talking about exactly what's going on right now, but we're talking about it in 1996 or 7. And that's the thing, is that we are already done. We're already finished. So yeah, we need to go.
I have this for the appetizer.
Perfect. Let me go get my manager just to remove that for you. You hold on to this though, 'cause it's good until the end of the year. And then let me get that removed, and I'll commit to the check.
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a very hopeful person, so I always believe that hope, springs eternal. There's always a way. Jesus always wins. There's a way to do that through Christ, through God. So, I think if we could somehow break the influence of foreign countries over our U.S. politicians, okay, get actual politicians in office that represent Americans, then we could potentially change a lot of things, and we could potentially fix a lot of things. But can that be done is the question.
No, can't. Not at this point. I mean, maybe back in the 1980s, 1970s, maybe. But now, there's no way. We have the people that are against us have more technology, more bombs, influence, and energy, and all kinds of energy. I'm not talking about like physical energy. I'm talking about the energy of the world. They have everything.
Here, let me give you this.
Yeah,
Cash.
I do. That's great. But I still think that, that we need to. There's nothing really that we can do right at this point in time. We just need to ride it out. The only thing we need to do is try and get everybody to become awakened to the fact that we're all being lied to. If we can just tell people, hey, wake up, wake up. You're being freaking lied to every freaking day. And people are like, oh yeah, sure, vaccines are okay. They're perfectly safe. You know, that's not. It's not.
Thank you.
So, thank you. So we just need to we need to get people to wake up and to understand what's going on in the world and understand that there has to be a balance between uh, your emotional, physical, and um, intellectual, um, intellectual uh, spirit. So you have the intellectual spirit and
The sake will do that.
it's yeah, a couple of sockets will change that. Um, but anyway, so it's like we need to wake up. We need to become more spiritually aware and more mentally aware. We got to stop being freaking lazy. That's the thing is, Americans have been lulled into this complacency of laziness. We're all freaking lazy. We don't, it's like, oh, the water's going to come on in the morning, so why should I care?
Right.
So, I've got my Starbucks over there. That's okay. Why should I care? You got to start caring. People got to start caring about things, life. Literally, they got to care about life, and they got to care about everything else. You got to start caring. You got to stop being blinded. Get the fog out of our face, and start looking and see clarity.
I like that. That's a good note. A good note to end on that. So again, thank you again to all our viewers. I'm Brian Ference. You can follow me on X at Brian Ference1. This is the MAGAMindPodcast.com. With me is James Richard and Sir Runcible Spoon on X. Thank you all. God bless, and do join us later, really in half an hour from now, on the Redacted podcast, and then I'll be on Ryan Matta's X later tonight. Thank you, everyone. God bless everyone.
Bye.
Bye.